Hey guys, how you doing? I thought I'd give you a prophetic update report of what's going on. Obviously, today, March, is a time of they call it Black Monday. Black Monday, with the whole banks collapsing or the run on the bank and so forth. What you're seeing is a scene from um, It's a Wonderful Life when they had that run on the bank kind of thing, and then he's trying to save and trying to stop the panic of people trying to get all their money out. And that's what causes a lot of the bank runs is when people freak out all at once and everybody tries to get their money out. So as I hear, there's um, a second bank that now just collapsed regarding that because people are, I think, freaking out and stuff. Um, One thing for sure is that it's the bigger, I would say the bigger ones, the bigger companies or the companies that have a lot of money in it, as opposed to smaller people who have individual accounts in there. What I was told, um, it's not as bad, because our money is insured by 250,000, I believe. That's in the bank. So something happens, we're covered by that. But is that for sure? I don't know. Or is that money coming from our more tax? Yeah, I think so. More tax. Um, there was one article that popped up regarding Charles Payne talking about that as well. So, whose money is it going to come out of? The taxpayer, of course. So you can read that article, whatever. So that's what's happening today. Obviously, over the weekend, it's been like that. It's been crazy stuff. The now second bank, the U.S. regional First Republic uh, bank sinks. So there's a hold on it. So what it is the feds shut this down because everybody's trying to get their money out. Kind of reminds me of the Revelation according to Scripture. What does this have to do with the Bible prophecy and whatever? Well, um, Revelations 18. Revelations 18. And what you're looking at is the NIV version of it. It says the fall of Babylon the Great. Now, the fall, what is Babylon? Is it the United States or is it? It's the system. It's the whole system that we've been on and stuff like that. Or you call it the Big Reset, right? A lot of people are talking about that. So I don't have really time to go through the whole Revelations 18, but it talks about that. It talks about how the angel was released to come down, give authority, and cause a collapse to happen upon Babylon. Babylon. And then the world sees what's going on in the news, right? The world sees the news, reading the news about the whole bank collapse and runs and bank, whatever. So the world mourns for Babylon regarding the system. The system. Very interesting, though. As I read down the lines regarding that, it talks about shipping master containers and all that. And we're having that as well. According to what I saw on Twitter, talked about that too as well. So what does that mean? Keep an eye on shipments coming out in the stores, especially from overseas and stuff. There's going to be a halt on that. So that's part of 18. I think this 18 scripture of Revelation is actually coming alive. What's going on? it's kind of funny when you read a book about Revelations, you think, well, that's way in the future, chapter 18, that's like after when the church is gone and the Antichrist comes about, and all this stuff. So far, reading the book of Revelation, it's like here and there, and this and there, and little blobs of things coming up, and it seems like it's all happening. I used to think that way. I used to think, according to the chapters, it's in order how it's supposed to be. But, talking to people like my rabbi friend who says that we are in the book of Revelation already, and he believes that we're getting close to the sixth seal already. And that's another subject. You can look at the archives. That's his opinion. But reading this Revelation 18, it just sounds like what's happening, man. Finally, it talks about the ship, the containers, talks about the industry. Wow. It says, right here in 21, it says, the angel took up and says, thus the violence of the great city Babylon throw down is no more. The sounds of harpists, musicians, flutes, trumpeters shall no longer be heard anymore. No craftsmanship shall be found anymore. And this is a weird script right here about the sound of millstone thrown is heard no more. And it talks about and then it goes on to the merchants of the great man of the earth and the sorcerers of all the nations delivered, and the blood of the prophets of the saints and slain and whatever. It just sounds like what's going on, man. Very interesting. I was reading earlier and skipping through this verse here where it talks about, here it is. It says that all the merchants shall weep over her because no one be able to buy the merchandise anymore. The merchants of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linens, purple, silk, scarlet, any kinds of wood, every kind of ivory objects, precious wood, bronze, marble, perfume, because incense and all that stuff, wheat and barley, what is it? Wheat, candle. So it sounds like it's kind of like obviously merchandise, right? Talking about food, because right now we're having a shortage, high cost of eggs and stuff and meat and all this stuff happening. And it goes on, and it talks about merchants again, merchants. Where's it coming from? Overseas, right? Different places. Very interesting. But there's a scripture also that talks about the milestone. And moving on here. Where is that verse? Okay, I saw a verse here earlier where it talks about it's like a milestone be thrown into the sea. And so looking at that scripture, here it is, verse 21 right in front of me. The great milestone that threw it into the sea. Now think about this, okay? I think it's in Matthew, or it's in a scripture earlier where it talks about it. About, if you cause the little ones to sin, it's better to have a milestone in your neck. And okay, so I found that scripture. It's in Matthew 18:6, but it's also in Mark. I like this because it has different translations. This one's actually in the NIV version. It says, if anyone causes these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it is better for them to have a large milestone hung around their neck and then drawn into the sea. Look at this scripture in Revelation. It talks about that again too. Revelations 18:21. Then the angel took a rock or a stone like the great milestone thrown around it and threw it into the sea. Interesting, right? And it, for this version here, obviously it's talking about the trafficking stuff, right? All the stuff that's going on. causing the other ones to sin, the corruption and stuff like that. It's better to have a rock thrown in them, thrown in the sea, right? To cause these little ones to sin or whatever. So anyway, so that's part of all this. So I think this revelation is actually coming in true. It's happening. I don't have to mention about it even more, but you got the idea. It's also good to look at the different translations too, because I saw earlier, and this is just a side note about giants in the land. I did a thing on Nephilim, the giants in the land, about they sent out spies to look at the land. And some translation talks about giants. Some translation says Nephilim. The NIV said Nephilim, and the other one said giants in the land. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, so going on, and then 21 is the key part here. Is like the summary, and it talks about harpists, musicians, flutists, and all this stuff. So it sounds like the music industry, the entertainment industry, all that, Hollywood, the glamour, and all this stuff is fallen. And then it talks about the sorcery and all that. Just read it. So it's come up to heaven, and they put it to halt. Okay, so now reading these scriptures here, what does it mean for us? Okay, I know believers out here, you put in money and all this stuff. So what happens to us? Well, what do we do? I'm not an expert. It's just my suggestions. What I hear from people is that you don't want to have a lot of money in the bank. Don't put your whole life savings in there, because it could be taken away, just like what happened here. So I would just keep is enough that you can pay your bills and stuff like that, maybe a little bit over and stuff if you can. Just keep a little bit there, but then have money in hand, like cash, hard metals, gold, silver, whatever, things that you have on hand, not something like a stock or something that you can't reach for that can be invested. That's the thing with the bank. So when I hear it's like a bank, it's like when you put in money in it, I think they have a right to invest like 90% of it or something like that. So it's like, and then 10% is actually there. So I don't know. That's just what I heard. So and that's what happens. And when people come in, they want to get their money, can't get it. So don't have a lot in there. Just have money that you have on hand, just like the old days. You've seen these people, videos, old movies, that this guy just like had money buried in a cave or something like that, where he knew because he didn't trust the banks. Well, I don't know, man. So anyway, so have enough to be able to pay your bills, whatever. But then also number 2 is don't make large purchases right now. Don't be like going off to vacation, going off there and spending a lot of money that you owe. Have some money in hand. If you have to, then you do. Just have money in case you need it. My opinion. Number 3. Definitely have your food and water, because it did say here, right here, about the livestock here somewhere. Not only was like material stuff, clothing, but it also said like food, because it said somewhere about every kinds of cattle. Here it is. Flour, right? That's your bread. Wheat, cattle, sheep, that's like your meat, livestock, right? Or it could be eggs or whatever. It says to have that. Have your nearby farmer's market to go to so you can have it. Or grow your food. Start growing your stuff. Start planting stuff. Get, that's an idea there. This whole thing, I encourage you guys to just read the 18. Revelations 18 right there. I think it talks about what's happening. It could be my opinion, but Revelations is the thing right now. I believe it's coming to pass. Are we in the last day? Obviously, we're in the last days. Is Jesus coming? He said he is, so he's supposed to come. Is the rapture happening? I hope so. Is this time of the rapture? A lot of people believe so. I would say I do. Um, I don't want to really give dates anymore because I've been wrong before. Mine was what is it? The Feast of Trumpet. That's what I thought it would be. I was wrong last year, so I don't know. But it just seems like it's going on, bro. So that's it. You may want to start taking some portions out, not a whole bunch out, at one time, but a little bit here, there, I remember going to this one place, this one town up in Northern California, and it was all cash, no credit cards. You can't buy anything with credit cards. It's all cash. It was weird, but I can see why, how it would affect now. That was like 10 years ago, man. I went to this town. It was all cash. You can't buy anything in this whole town without cash, and so it was very interesting. Taught lessons regarding that. So, anyways, so you have that. I read something, a posting here that people are trying to get money out, and they're saying, tens, 20s, and all this stuff. One person got $300 out. Da, da, da. So you may want to start doing that for yourself, and be cautious for yourself. Because the system can crash, and it's obviously happening. So now, the other hand, good news is what I hear is like in the Patriot movement, like Derek Johnson said something about the quantum financial thing is up and rise. It's going. A lot of people talk about the resets. Could this we trans over to the reset thing? Good thing. I don't know. We'll see. Just pray and ask God what to do regarding the situation. And there you go.